It's no secret that in Formula 1, sometimes teams have to favour one driver over the other. Whether that's because there's a need for points in the two championships, to gain an advantage over competitors, or just to make the more deserving driver of the pair win, it fairly often happens that drivers have to give up their positions and let their teammates pass. But why is this true? And most importantly, who are today's second drivers? Well, that's what we're going to be going over in this video, and make sure to stick around until the end, because the world of second drivers is a real dumpster fire. So we all know that not all the drivers in Formula 1 are created equally, and sometimes teams have to decide who to favour in difficult situations. We've seen this happen a lot over the past years, with the most prominent example being Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas during their period as teammates at Mercedes. Bottas gave up a lot of wins or just a lot of finishing positions in general just to make sure that his teammate could snatch away the championship with some time still remaining in the season to escape his best competitors and be safe with the trophy. Well, now that the 2023 grid is set, there are still some things to decide, and one of those is who's going to be advantaged by the team during race weekends. Of course, we know this may vary on a race-to-race basis, but it's still important to make our predictions for next season, and to try to understand the new driver roles inside of their new cars. This is the reason we've made a list, to try and assign to each driver the number 1 or the number 2 role in the team. The first one we're going to go over is Red Bull Racing. In 2021 and in 2022, we've seen at Red Bull who was the fastest, the most dominant, and surely the most helped by his team and teammate. And I'm of course talking about Max Verstappen. He's won the World Championship in both these years, and in both cases, he was helped in one way or another by his teammate Sergio Perez. An example was in Abu Dhabi 2021, when he held up Lewis Hamilton, sacrificing his race so that Verstappen could have caught up. But there are other occasions in which his help was fundamental, and he totally knows this. Perez is obviously the second driver here, not only for his performance, but also due to how he got used to racing in the past years at the team. If we look, for example, at the 2022 Hungarian Grand Prix, we can see that even though it was just the first lap, he started behind Verstappen and overtook him. He willingly pulled up on the side of the track to let his teammate pass, and then queued up behind him to continue racing. He did all of this on his own, showing how much he's become used to giving positions to Verstappen, since he did that in the first few corners. And, honestly said, Red Bull isn't going to make their first driver someone who crashed on purpose, but we already made a video on that topic. Contrary to Red Bull, Ferrari has been receiving a lot of backlashes from its drivers because of how they're treated. In the Italian team, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz have been fighting all season over the status of who's the first driver, and this has really shown how much they value personal placement over the team placement in the standings. Leclerc was leading the championship for some races in 2022, so it would have been fair for his teammate to let him pass. This didn't happen though on some occasions, for example during the British Grand Prix, when while Sainz was looking for his first victory in Formula 1, he took away the chance of a championship fight from his teammate by not staying far enough behind him after the safety car restart. Another example was the Brazilian Grand Prix, when he didn't let his teammate pass even though he was fighting for second in the championship. But there are other ones too that we're just going to skip. The reality of it is that Sainz didn't want to be advantaged, nor did he want to be on the same level as his teammate. The thing is that Ferrari got the strategies and race pace so wrong on many occasions that he physically didn't have the possibility to give up his position to the teammate, even though he willingly would have if only he could. For example, he revealed after the Brazilian Grand Prix that he would have let Leclerc through, but his team said that it was too risky letting him pass as he was really close with some opponents. And at the end, he did end the season in second place in the driver's standings, so no lasting mark remained after these actions. Probably considering the pair's placement in the driver's standings, Ferrari will be forced to favour Leclerc next season over Carlos Sainz, in hopes of getting better as time passes. Sadly, Mercedes is on a whole different level. Mercedes' driver lineup has a big problem, which is the same one that cost Ferrari the championship fight in 2019. That problem is that one young upcoming talent is paired with one experienced world champion. The reason this is such a lethal combo is that the two personalities often end up clashing with each other. The young talent often wants to predominate over his teammate to show how better he is than everybody else thinks, like Hamilton with Alonso in 2007 when the British rookie overshadowed the 2-times world champion, while the experienced driver wants to show that he still has the pace to remain in the sport, like Vettel with Ricciardo at Red Bull in 2014. This is exactly what happened to Ferrari in 2019, when Vettel and Leclerc kept fighting each other instead of the opponents, meaning that they lost time in every race due to useless battles and ended up far away from the first in the championship. Well, that was also true because of the engine penalty the Maranello team got that season, but when they still had the chance to be competitive, This was the reason that took them away from the trophy. The similarities with current Mercedes are striking, but it seems hard that we'll get a serious fight between the two. For one, Lewis Hamilton looks like the friendliest person in the world, who wouldn't initiate a fight just because of something on track, but would instead congratulate his teammates like he did in Brazil. And the other reason is that this driver pairing in particular seems to be going really well. Since at the beginning of the season, the two drivers didn't go against each other almost at all due to how much their cars sucked. They got to become friends over that time, so now that they're closer than ever, it seems unlikely anything could worsen their relationship. Probably, if there are the chances, they will favour any one of the two who is looking to win the championship. And realistically, it could be both of them, as they are amongst the best drivers on the grid. And since Mercedes is trying to build one of the fastest cars possible for next season, so they don't get overshadowed by overspending competitors, in any other case, Mercedes will probably let them race, knowing that they're both incredibly clean drivers who could bring the car home while still giving a spectacle to all the fans. Other teams are pretty different. Alfa Romeo has the same drivers lineup they had in 2022, so they will probably just let them race like they did this season, while Alpine and Gasly are going to probably be on the same level, since the French team probably doesn't want to destroy their relationship before it even starts. Aston Martin could favour Alonso for what we know, since it's clear that he's the fastest driver of the two. Stroll is so slow that I could get a faster lap around any track just by running in it, but the young talent is the son of the team's owner, so he could get a special treatment for that. Haas will probably stick to its policy of no intervention during races in 2023, since with Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg, they have a bomb that could explode at any moment, since the two already went against each other in the past and could also do that again in the future. So, leaving them to their things will be the best choice for the American team. Speaking of American, Logan Sargent is joining Williams next year, and honestly speaking, he won't be favoured over his more experienced teammate Alex Albon, unless he gets a podium or something as important as that, because a team like that one needs every point possible to keep on racing. McLaren and AlphaTauri will have an equilibric team, meaning there will probably be no need for team orders if their drivers manage to not destroy their cars during races, unlike Latifi. Man, we will miss him for sure in 2023. Let us know in the comment below what you think of this situation, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Bye for now.